You're live on GBC24 and GTV. This is news coming up. GBC to organize presidential debates for all registered political parties ahead of election 2016.
Cocoa Board steps up efforts to reverse the liquidation of West African Mills Company properly.
And father of Rivers Steenkamp praised court to punish South African Olympic athlete Oscar Pistorius. My name is Shirley Annan.
I'm Ziyoko Kwakuche. Good evening and you're welcome.
Now straight to our first stories. The Ghana Broadcasting Corporation will organize presidential debates for all registered political parties in the country ahead of the November general elections. The debate forms part of GBC's election coverage, which aims to provide fair and equal opportunities to all the parties to educate the electorate on their policies, plans and positions on major economic and political issues. Policy guidelines on the coverage of the elections were also unveiled at the event at the Broadcasting House in Accra, which drew a gathering including political party representatives. This year's elections will be the 7th in the country since the return to multi-party democracy in 1992.
Over the past 24 years, when Ghana chose to use the ballot box to elect her leaders, the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation has been instrumental in this journey. The state broadcaster has championed its constitutional role of giving fair and equitable coverage to all political parties to sell their policies to the electorate. Come November 7, Ghana will be going to the polls, and once again, GBC is giving all registered political parties the platform to freely inform the electorate about the reason why they deserve to be in power. In order to avoid complaints of unfair coverage, management of GBC have met with representatives of political parties to outline its guidelines for coverage of political parties ahead of the general elections.
To ensure neutrality, GBC shall make available to all registered political parties and candidates advertising space or slots and airtime for programs without favor. The rates, terms and conditions for advertising, airtime and production and transmission facilities shall be the same for all political parties and candidates.
The board chairman of GBC, Mr. Richard Kwame Asante, said GBC will give equal playing field to all registered political parties on its radio stations and television channels across the country.
GBC has constituted a political broadcast complaints and monitoring committee with the best kind of human resource. The committee has been at work since last year in consultation with various stakeholders, has come up with guidelines that would govern GBC's coverage of political parties, presidential candidates, and political activities in the forthcoming 2016 elections.
The chairman of the National Peace Council, Most Reverend Professor Emmanuel Asante, entreated the political parties to take advantage of the opportunity being offered them.
This time we want to elect people because they have marketed something that we can hold on, something that will push Ghana forward. We have elected people because we have understood the issues at stake. And that is what this whole thing is about. So seize this opportunity, don't squander it.
The acting director general of GBC, Mrs. Francisca Ashite Odunton, said though the political parties will appear on GBC programs, the corporation will have editorial control over the programs.
We would allow parties and candidates to debate each other, and we would also provide information that as far as possible avoids inflammatory language to help to prevent election-related violence. No one party would be allowed to dominate a particular time. GBC would at all times maintain editorial control over all material to be broadcast.
Balloting for the order in which the political parties will appear on GBC programs was postponed.
And reports from the Ashanti region indicate that a significant number of candidates are absent from the ongoing basic education certificate examination. Reasons for the absenteeism are varied. That is according to GBC24 correspondent in the region, while some stopped attending school after registering for the examinations. Others traveled or are reported sick, confirms our correspondent. Others still are absent for inexplicable reasons. We have more on the story on the Basic Education Certificate examination from the Ashanti region.
The Ashanti region is presenting the highest number of candidates for this year's BECE with a total of 91,349 registered candidates. There are 46,931 boys and 44,418 girls writing the 5-day examination at 349 centers in all the 30 administrative districts of the region. The regional minister, Mr. John Alexander Akon, together with the Ashanti Regional Director of Education, Madam Mary Owusu Echiao, visited some of the exam centers to motivate the candidates who are writing their first major external examination. Among the centers visited in Kumasi were the St. Louis Girls Senior High Schools. 3 of the candidates registered for this center did not report for the exam. No reason was given. At the Prempeh College Center B, where 290 candidates from 4 schools were expected to be present, the supervisor, Mr. Solomon Inti, could not declare any candidate absent because the exam papers had just arrived at the time of the minister's visit. That was at 9:41 a.m. By the examination regulations, a candidate can only be declared absent 30 minutes after the start of the paper being written. The Mankraso SHS Center in the Hafano South District recorded the highest number of 7 absentees from the 8 schools that are using the center. Their reasons included sickness. At the Mabai Senior High Technical School Center in the Hafano North District, only 1 male candidate was absent. At the Tepa Senior High School Center, also in the Hafano North District, the supervisor, Mr. Benjamin Odro, told the regional minister that as many as 5 of the candidates out of the 213 expected at the center were absent. Travel and sickness were cited as reasons. The regional minister expressed satisfaction with the conduct of the examination.
All the rounds we've gone, we've seen some huge improvement, even in the way they supply their papers. And we've seen some few lateness, which I think is tolerable. 3 minutes, 17 minutes, and the like. And it's all because they want to make sure that the purpose is that bottom line, there's no leakage, which has been something hanging on our heads for some time. So to me, I'm very satisfied.
In a related development, the regional minister expressed satisfaction with the progress of work on one of the government's community-day senior high schools at Edujama in the Hafano South District.
President John Mahama has presented 300 buses and 200 pickups to selected senior high schools, technical and vocational institutions, special schools, private and public universities and colleges of education. The move is part of the administration's commitment to invest in the educational sector. Tuesday's presentation coincided with the start of President Mahama's Accounting to the People tour in the Greater Accra region.
The new Community Day Senior High Schools and the Ghana Education Service across the country will also benefit from the vehicles. President Mahama called for strict maintenance and cautioned drivers against irresponsible driving. He also announced that government has absorbed 5 private colleges of education into the public stream and efforts are underway to absorb another 5.
The district education directorates of the 46 newly created districts, we had provided 17 of the districts with pickups for their day-to-day administration. There were still 29 of them who had not received any vehicles. And so today I'm also handing over 29 pickups to the remaining district director of education. 20 of our technical schools and 12 of our special needs schools have also been taken care of under this package.
The Minister of Education, Professor Jenana Opoku-Ajimai, said government is resolute to ensure that all educational facilities are well resourced. She urged institutions yet to benefit to exercise restraint as delivery is assured. The beneficiary institutions are from the 10 regions of Ghana.
Child labor was high on the agenda of Ghana's lawmakers, with both sides of the House calling for concerted efforts to reduce child labor in the country. The Member of Parliament for Afajato, Mr. Joseph Amenewude, told the law-making body that child labor in all forms is a disincentive to the development of the victim and the nation as a whole. A report by Winifred Efum.
Every year on 12th of June, the World Day Against Child Labor is observed to raise awareness about the plight of child laborers worldwide. The day was launched by the International Labour Organization, ILO, in 2002. Child labor can be defined as the employment of children in an industry or business, especially when illegal or considered exploitative. The Children's Act 1998, Act 560, sets the minimum age for admission of a child to employment at 15 years, 13 years for light work, and 18 years for hazardous work. Over the years, there have been concerns about where to draw the lines between child labor and a child who is helping their parents in their line of business. This year, the focus of the day was on supply chain, a system of moving a product or service from supplier to customer. It was to probe the roles children play in that chain. The Member of Parliament for Afajato, Mr. Joseph Amenewude, said child labor persists and is endemic in many communities.
Urgent action is needed now because child labor denies boys and girls their right to be saved from harm, to quality education and vocational training, and play and to play and rest. Freedom from child labor is a fundamental human right, and alongside the other fundamental principles and rights at work, in particular freedom of association and the right to collective bargaining, it is indispensable for the achievement of decent work for all.
Members from both sides of the House were in favor of the presentation.
Many children work in homes as domestic servants, and many are not treated well at all because there's no platform for them to spell out clearly what their obligations are and indeed what their rights are. Secondly, you will find in the quarries across the length and breadth of this country where young people, because they have to eat, they are sent to these quarries, dangerous work, cracking the stones with serious adverse implications for their eyesight, and even the posture, the way they have to sit down and crack these stones. It's happening all over our country, and we need to do something about it.
In the first place, lack of education to our own people to let them understand that their children whom they give out are actually sometimes even sold out like goats and sheep is very, very important. Sometimes it becomes that relatives are even involved. They go in, they take these children, they are not able to care for them, they give them out to anybody at all, and there the problem starts.
I want to call on our ministry, particularly the Ministry of Local Government, to revert its minds and have influence, touch on this matter, bring it to the fore for it to become a real national issue.
Ideally, if we were to enforce our basic constitutional provisions that every Ghanaian child of school-going age must be in school and is in school, that would have been the best way of alleviating it.
In Ghana, the day was celebrated with the launch of a national protection policy by the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection.
The Ministry of Fisheries and Aquaculture Development has instituted measures to increase fish production in the country. To accelerate the measures, the Food and Agriculture Organization has teamed up with the ministry on a pilot project in the Western region to provide fish farmers with working capital to boost production.
The Minister for Fisheries and Aquaculture Development, Ms. Sherry Ayite, visited the fish ponds of some of the fish farmers at Takwa, Bogoso and Aboso. Fish farming has become a lucrative business in various parts of the country, particularly in the Western region. The Ministry of Fisheries and Aquaculture Development is leaving no stone unturned to make the subsector vibrant for employment and to meet the fish protein needs of the country. The sector minister interacted with all the fish farmers societies from the Takan Swaya municipality, the Pristia Hini Valley, Amenfi Central and Amenfi East. Among the issues discussed were challenges confronting the business and how to address them. The fish farmers requested regular training workshops to upgrade their knowledge about the business. They also appealed to government to provide them with excavators and cold storage facilities, as well as hatcheries for the production of fingerlings. The president of the Wassa West Fish Farmers Association, Mr. Yusuf Eidu Mensah, appealed to the government to provide them with such inputs on credit.
On fingering and feed. So Kenya and Uganda, more than the farmers yet to Japan's name. In Abanara, Waba my fingering, no how many feed. But 6 months, in another Waba, the one harvest, Nakia Waba, who are 12 profit. None cannot damn. It is all the year, Minister, Omamadina, Lamborghini.
The Minister of Fisheries, Ms. Sherry Ahite, outlined a number of things the ministry is doing to improve the subsector, including decentralization of the Fisheries Commission for a more effective administration.
Association, so the association must be able to reach out to the farmers. Now, associations to what's or there there or that when you sector ministry when you is in Kitawo. Oh, because I said one my answer there in here say concrete. Now decentralization DC wa association or two now also for DC wa yes abeka.
3.5 million public primary school pupils from across the country are to receive free books as part of a USAID Government of Ghana project that seeks to improve teaching and learning as well as the reading and numeracy skills of the pupils. Over 4 million books will be distributed under the project.
Although described by UNICEF as far ahead of the sub-Saharan average with the primary school net enrollment rate of 84%, Ghana is still faced with numerous challenges. Most pupils are performing poorly in reading and comprehension, according to the 2013 Early Grade Reading Assessment, which states that in general, only the top 2% of pupils, or a much smaller number, are able to read with fluency and comprehension. To help address this problem, the USAID launched an education project dubbed Partnership for Education Learning. Through the project, the USAID has partnered the government of Ghana through the Ghana Education Service with $71 million to support Ghana's educational institutions over a 5-year period. This is to improve, expand, and sustain learning outcomes for at least 2.8 million primary school children nationwide. The project puts emphasis on children between kindergarten and class 3. The launch of the distribution of supplementary readers, which is part of the overall Partnership for Education Learning project, is to kickstart the distribution process. In all, 4,291,552 books in 41 Ghanaian languages and 23 English titles will be distributed to 13,936 public kindergarten and 14,405 public primary schools in all 216 districts across the country.
There are 300 additional boxes that will be allocated to the 10 mobile libraries, to GES, to the MOE, to the colleges of education, and also to the regional offices. The colleges of education, it was critical for us to make sure that they were able to take these books and use them in the preparation of teachers who will be entering the system.
The American ambassador to Ghana, Mr. Robert Jackson, said the books are meant to inspire the children to make reading a part of their daily lives.
They're not designed to sit in the boxes. They're not designed to sit on library shelves. They're designed to encourage young people to read, to learn, to prepare for a bright future. They will open minds, expand horizons, and introduce millions of primary school children in Ghana to new worlds and new opportunities, new ideas and new careers.
The books were received on behalf of the government by the Director of the Ghana Education Service, Mr. Jacob Kaur, for onward distribution to the schools.
You're still watching News Hour live on GBC24 and GTV. We're taking a short break. Business is next.
Good evening and welcome to the world of business. My name is Esther Edu Ohumo. On his visit to Ghana, the Indian president met with the Ghanaian business community, during which he pledged to deepen trade relations between the two countries. Speaking at the Ghana-India Business Forum in Accra, the Indian president said his government has earmarked $10 billion for diverse investments in Africa and will work with his Ghanaian counterparts to utilize these funds for public-private partnerships investments in Ghana.
India is one of the first Asian countries to establish trade relations with Ghana in the 1930s. Trade turnover between Ghana and India increased from $537 million in 2010 to $818 million in 2011, an increase of 52% over the preceding year. Trade investment between Ghana and India increased to more than $1 billion in 2012, and by the close of 2015, this figure had almost tripled to $3 billion. Despite this quantum increase in trade and investment between the two countries, players say there's more opportunities that need to be explored, hence the visit of the Indian President Pranab Mukherjee to Ghana. Accompanying the president is a 20-man business delegation to look out for potential business sectors to invest in. The 20-man delegation, who are members of the Confederation of Indian Industry, were drawn from the infrastructure, agro-processing, manufacturing, automobile, pharmaceuticals, energy, mining, education, tourism, among others. They are in the country to engage with the Association of Ghana Industries, AGI, to identify strategic sectors of the economy to channel investments there. The president of the AGI, Mr. James Asare J., assured the Indian business delegation of sound economic fundamentals that will make their investments in the country yield the needed returns.
There exists a tremendous scope for cooperation between India and Ghana in various fields, ranging from agriculture to renewable energy, from steel manufacturing to information technology.
The head of the African Committee for the Confederation of Indian Industry, Mr. S. Paramasivan, said his members are determined to strike the needed deals with relevant partners before the end of the two-day visit. The Minister for Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration for Ghana, Madam Hannah Tete, indicated that the goal for Ghana is to scale trade relations to the tune of $5 billion by 2020.
Because what I want to assure you is that irrespective of what the outcome of the election is, there will be peace, there will be stability, there will be continuity, because those are the things we value, those are the things we are committed to as a government, those are the things we are committed to as a people.
The Indian President Pranab Mukherjee said the Indian government see Ghana as a strategic partner and a preferred destination of investment, and they will do their best to improve trade relations between the two countries.
If a conducive environment is facilitated, the Indian government would be ready to work with you in key sectors and areas of common interest and encourage Indian private as well as public sectors enterprises to bring more investments into Ghana.
According to the GIPC, India is the leading country in Ghana with the highest number of projects of more than 600, and the country is ranked among the top 10 countries with highest investments in Ghana.
Key players in the export sector have been schooled by the Ghana Export Promotion Authority on latest developments on the international market. Ghana has outlined plans to scale up export revenue from non-traditional exports, which stood at $2.5 billion in 2014 to $5 billion by 2017. The Ghana Export Promotion Authority (GEPA) is the national export trade support institution of the Ministry of Trade and Industry, responsible for the facilitation, development and promotion of exports. Diversifying Ghana's export base through non-traditional exports is key on the agenda of GEPA. As part of boosting the non-traditional export sector in the country, GEPA has an export school which holds training courses for players in the export industry to address their training needs. At the second edition of the export school in Accra, the General Manager of the Ghana Export Promotion Authority, Mr. Stephen Nomeshi, said measures are in place to revive the once vibrant export sector.
Some time ago, we were doing a lot of pineapple exports, but today we are not up to that level. So we have to work on our exporters, producers, outgrowers for them to increase our production and still looking at quality.
Some participants were optimistic the training will go a long way to provide more avenues for them on the international market.
We want to collaborate with Ghana Export Agency so that we make sure that the marketing hub for exports in Ghana is on the high ascendancy.
Going forward, the management of GEPA said they will continue to deliver the right information and support the participants and exporters in order to make them perform excellently on the international market. The cedi lost a peso to the dollar and euro. The dollar is currently trading at 3 cedis 88 pesos. Light crude lost 64 cents to trade at $48.24. Gold also depreciated by $3.80 to trade at $1,280.60. The Public Affairs Director of the Ghana Cocoa Board, Mr. Noah Amenya, says the company's investment in the West African Mills Company, WAMCO, has not yet yielded any profit, meaning no dividend can be paid to shareholders. In an exclusive interview with GBC24, Mr. Amenya indicated that Cocoa Board does not agree with the private liquidation of the company and will explore all avenues to get the company properly liquidated and settle a $49.5 million debt in the company's books.
In 1992, the Ghana Cocoa Board entered into a joint ventureship with the West African Mills Company, WAMCO, to supply cocoa beans to WAMCO. The partnership saw Hamester owing 60% of the company, with Cocoa Board taking the rest of the shares. WAMCO was established with an installed capacity of 70,000 metric tons and operational capacity of 50,000 tons. The company has two plants for processing cocoa beans. the expeller processing plant, and the hydraulic press plant. The company has a workforce of over 250. But since 2014, WAMCO has been forced to shut down due to its inability to pay for supplies from Cocoa Board. The company owed Cocoa Board to the tune of $49.5 million. And the hydraulic 2014 press plant. WAMCO to supply. The company has a 60% workforce of over 250. Rest of the shares too. But since 24,000 tons. In 1914, WAMCO of 70, the company has been forced to 1,000 metric tons shut down due to its unoperational capacity inability of 50 joint ventureship to pay for supply cocoa beans from Cocoa Board. The company prompted the shareholders to begin the processes to liquidate the assets of the company to defray the debt. However, the liquidation was fraught with a lot of challenges, with Hamester, the majority shareholder, and the Cocoa Board minority shareholder yet to find an amicable solution to the problem.
We apologize for the mishap in that story. The insurance news is after the break. Welcome to the insurance news brought to you by SIC Life. A claim for comprehensive insurance or motor insurance policy differs from that of life insurance, but the underlying principles still stand. Experts tell GBC24 having motor insurance policy with 2 or more insurance companies is illegal. However, there is nothing wrong with having a life insurance policy with multiple companies.
Claiming one's insurance returns is a very important aspect of the insurance process. Insurance claims are to demystify the policyholder and get him back on track to where he formerly was, but not to make profit. In an act where a motor insurance policyholder signs onto a policy with 2 different insurance companies with the same vehicle, is described as illegal and deemed fraudulent. An insurance claims consultant at Quality Insurance Company, Mr. Bona Akest, explains why such acts should be discouraged.
At the underwriting stage, the question is, are you now insured, or have you insured this property with any other company in connection with this vehicle? If you answer no, whereas you have another existing policy, then you are trying to defraud, that being a motive.
According to the CEO for Ghana Union Assurance Life, Mr. Kwesi Ofei, insurance companies sort out the entitlement or cost of the vehicle, but does not mean the policyholder will get 2 different compensations because he holds the same policy with 2 different companies with a vehicle. If mutual settlement is assured, what then happens in such a case?
If it is not completely damaged or bent completely, then there is partly damage and there is a case of fixing it. That is where we sometimes introduce the idea of you contributing for the betterment of the state of your car.
This means prospective insurers are to insure their properties at their replacement value, current market value at the time of the loss, or sum insured. On the other hand, life insurance policyholders can take multiple insurance policies but are not contract of indemnity.
And that's all for business. Thanks for watching.
Welcome to the health segment. Today is World Blood Donor Day. As the world marks the day under the theme Blood Connects Us All, the World Health Organization Regional Director for Africa, Dr. Masidiso Moeti, has admonished all to view voluntary blood donation as essential life-saving role in all aspects of health care, including maternal and child care, victims of trauma and accidents, and in the event of man-made and natural disasters. From 2013 to 2016, blood donations rose from about 3.9 million units to 4.4 million units. So far, only 21 countries are collecting 80 to 100% of their national blood through voluntary and paid blood donors. The World Health Organization says it will continue to provide technical support to member states to strengthen service delivery and safety, as well as improve access to safe blood products for patients in need in the African region. "42-year-old Robert Kwarteng is suffering from chronic kidney disease and needs $40,000 to enable him to undergo a kidney transplant. Mr. Kwarteng also has to foot the bill of his weekly treatments at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital, which costs 2,000 Ghana cedis. GBC24 is appealing for help for Mr. Kwarteng. Please donate to save a life. Donate to save Mr. Kwarteng's life.
Was diagnosed with the chronic kidney disease in December 2015, a situation which has subjected him to a weekly hemodialysis treatment at the cost of about 2,000 Ghana cedis, in addition to other medications. His situation has given rise to anemia due to erythropoietin deficiency, and this must be substituted exogenously externally in order to raise his hemoglobin level to treat the anemia. Robert, a father of 6, is an accountant, but his situation has rendered him incapable of engaging in active work. Robert is appealing to Ghanaians to support him to undergo a kidney transplant to improve the quality of his life.
I'm appealing to the general public to assist me to be able to fend for my chronic kidney problem and also the kidney transplant I intend to do, as I've run out of savings and I'm jobless now. My income is zero and I need assistance.
Donations could be sent to the UBA Bank, North Industrial Area Branch, Accra. Account name Robert Kwarteng. Account number 0101059501503, or Ghana Commercial Bank, Elmina Branch. Account name Abigail Adu. Account number 315101001681. One could also reach Robert Kwarteng on 020-6596-135 or 050-129-6959. No amount is too small.
The international news is next. And now to some sports stories. The incidence of athletes, specifically footballers, suffering from cardiac arrest is becoming one too many in recent times. On Monday, a former Hearts of Oak midfielder, Yuri Asante, died due to cardiac arrest. He was 24 years. GBC24 Sports has been speaking to some specialists in a bid to unravel the possible causes and preventive measures needed to address the situation.
Any human being with a heart can have a cardiac arrest. So once you have a heart, it is possible that the heart at some point, or if you get exposed to certain conditions, or you have an underlying line problem, you could get yourself into this situation. It is more common in sedentary people, people who are not physically active, people who are obese, people who are not exercising. Cardiac arrest is more common in them, or arrest in sports. And if I come down to football, it's something we call hypertrophic cardiomyopathy. It is an underlying problem with the heart muscle, and then at the end of the day, it leads to a point where the heart cannot be able to contract or relax the way it has to do and then pump blood. We are asking people to do exercises. We are asking people to get physically active. Is it more common in football? The only thing that makes us hear more of it among footballers and of course other sporting personalities. If you go to the US, it's quite common among basketball players, is the fact that they are not, in quote, stars, because they are not in a kind of trade which involves everybody watching. We don't hear about it.
It's time for showbiz, and today we're looking at colors. The meaning of colors is not universal. It varies on the basis of culture and circumstances. In the arts and entertainment news today, we bring you the meaning of the color red.
Colors are a form of non-verbal communication. It is not a static energy, and its meaning can change from one day to the next with any individual. It all depends on what energy they are expressing at that point in time. The meaning of color red is the color of energy, passion, action, ambition, and determination. A person may choose to wear red on a particular day, and this may indicate that this is their favorite color or they are ready to take action. Again, it may be that they may be passionate about what they are going to do. Color red may mean they are feeling angry on either a conscious or subconscious level. All are traits of the color red. It is also the color of anger and sexual passion. We will bring you the meaning of the rest of the colors in our subsequent bulletin.
And it's a wrap on the news for now. Thank you so much for watching. We'll be back at 10:30 with the latest.